Read the description first.
Oh, alright. So, do you guys know there's a movie called Snowpiercer? It's pretty neat, but also pretty fucking stupid. Basically, here's how it goes. Here's the jam. You have global warming. I know, already pretty crazy premise. Hashtag vote Trump. But global warming is destroying the earth. So they decide that the only rational solution is to just pump a bunch of fucking shit up in the atmosphere. And then that causes a massive ice age. So fortunately, we have defeated decades of trying and created a perpetual motion engine, which you would think would be like, oh, all right, infinite energy, we're fucking good. But no, they're like, we're going to use this perpetual motion engine to power a train. This train is going to just circumnavigate the globe forever. And we will save maybe like 1,000 people for the train. More, I don't fucking know. I don't know how they never go into. But 17 years later, and everybody lives on the stupid fucking train that has infinite energy and can just go forever. And turns out that the people in the tail end of the train, they're all like grubby and scrappy and forced back by fucking cops, police guys who occasionally are like, hey, we need somebody to go to the front of the train where the rich people live. Hey, you play violin? You're coming with us. Hey, children, you measure a certain height. Our Dolores Umbridge looking character measured you. You can go ahead, go too. So, nobody's really happy. They get to eat these like weird jelly bars. I thought they looked kind of tasty, but I'm weird. I like to eat just crap, just garbage, really. Seems like they're getting treated kind of bad. They don't seem to be contributing anything to the train. So, well, why are they even there? It's like the Hunger Games problem. You ever think about that in Hunger Games? How they're like, oh, we have fucking all these districts that like mine coal for us, but we got to keep them in line, even though we have the technology to like create like anything. Like in the fucking Hunger Games, they create like an entire thing. They create like genetic monsters like minutes before they actually make them, and they could just do it like. You think they'd have robots mining the coal and not have to deal, with kid death matches. Point being, shit's bad, and Captain America, who was one of the lucky people on this train, and is definitely not a baby-eating scumbag. He is co-leader of the revolution, along with his scrappy sidekick, who's a blonde guy, and an old man who's missing a hand and has like a hook hand. So they're cool, and he thinks that those guards are bluffing because they never actually use their guns. He thinks bullets went extinct. He basically organizes a big old revolt, and it turns out he was right. The guns didn't have any bullets in them. The guards were like totally helpless to stop them. And they just go through and beat the shit out of all the guards. And they start making their way up through the train, and they discover that their food, their protein bar food, is actually made of bugs, which I guess is pretty gross. But it's also like, I don't know. I'm just weird, but like the UN has been saying for years, we gotta eat more bugs. They're a good source of protein. It's not like resources are so ridiculously unevenly distributed that people later on are eating sushi. That would be fucking nuts. They keep going through the train until they make it to the next platform where this like evil Scottish lady that's like the overseer is awaiting, and she has this army of dudes just wearing black masks, and they just have like axes and spears and shit, and they just beat the shit out of the rebels. Like, just it's not going well. It's like, well, wait a minute, why didn't you just I don't fucking know, like have the guards guarding the rebels with the axes and spears and shit? That seems like the way to go. That seems like, if you just started with that, then maybe you would have had a chance. There's like a sick fight scene, and that's one thing that this movie does super well. It's fucking rad. Is the fighting is fucking awesome. And it's awesome fighting. There's dudes getting just like chopped with axes and punched real good and all kinds of shit. And Captain America, he manages to capture the Scottish lady, but he lets his friend die in a really tragic scene where his friend gets caught by like one of the main like overseer SS captain type guys who has like a knife to his throat, and the guy's like, "Hey, listen, man, listen up, listen the fuck up. If you go and you get that Scottish lady, I will definitely kill your friend. And if you don't get her, I'll totally let him go for sure. You know me, you know us. You can trust us to keep our word." I don't know. I mean, he's like, "Oh, I fucked up. I could have saved him," but I, no, you couldn't have. No, it's fine. So they have the Scottish lady, and she's like, listen, you guys. I don't actually run the train. Ed Harris, famous character actor Ed Harris, he runs the train. He lives up in the front of the train. So I will take a couple of you. I will take Captain America. I will take the cool guy with tattoos that is also in this movie. I will take the parents of the children, and I will take this junkie scientist guy that I forgot to tell you guys about, where there's a scientist guy that they rescued who can open the doors because he's the only door opener in the world. And he's like, "Hey, I like to do these drugs that are like gasoline balled up. It's like balled up little solid gasoline, and I shove them up my beehole or something." Oh, and his daughter, who can see the future, like there's that element in the movie now. It's not really, yeah. So they all go forward, and it turns out that the rich people have been keeping more than their fair share of stuff, because they go in and there's like a fucking aquarium, and there's like a sushi chef guy who's like, "Hey, I can just make you guys sushi. I know you're enemies of the state, but whatever. I don't care. I'm a sushi man. I'll make some sushi. That's my ninja way. That's how I do." So he just starts making them sushi, and it's super delicious. And they're just eating sushi for like a long time and looking out the window. Then they keep going, and they go into like this classroom where it turns out that the educational system brainwashes the rich children and are perpetuating the system, and like this system of castes where you're just like, the poor people belong in the back and us rich guys belong up here. It's like this movie's trying to say something, man. It's like it's got some ideas that inequality is bad. They just keep going and going through the train, and then there's fucking awesome shit, right? Where the train is going on like the tracks, and it's going on a curve, so the train is curved. So at some point, there's like these enforcer guys that are way, way back somehow. Wait, there's no like hallway cars, so they would have had to pass each other. It's not, how they're past them, behind them, and these guys, they're like going through and fucking murdering the shit out of all of the resistance fighters and the poor people, and it's super bad. And Captain America, he finds out, and he very heroically kills the Scottish lady, which good, because she was like the first chance that she got was totally gonna betray the shit out of all of them. But so the guy that like killed everybody, he like, the train is curved, so he like aims from one train car and he can see them on the other train car because it's curved. It's not in a straight line anymore, and they have like a fucking sniper battle, and it's awesome. It makes a really good use of the train. Except then it's like, wait, hang on, because the outside is so cold that you're all in this train instead of like a stationary building that can just have infinite power because you figured out how to do that. But you're shooting holes into the train where just this cold air that fucking kills everybody they can like flash freeze people, just gets in. Is there like a glass smith? Like glass smith? What's the word for it? I don't know. I feel like the surface level is very nice and very well thought out and cool. But then if you go like 1 inch into this like lovely dirt garden, it turns out there's just a bunch of plastic and shit. underneath the dirt. My backyard is like that. It's weird. We fucking told Grandpa, hey, don't make the backyard like that. But you know how. So basically, they just keep going through the train, and it's getting richer and richer and richer as they go. Like they go through like a spa car. They go through a fucking dining car that's like super high class. They go through like just like a residency car or a hairdressing car, and it's like, whoa, these resources are so poorly distributed. It's fucked, guys. Marx was right. Class revolution. Income inequality is bad. Salient points. How the fuck do people travel around in this fucking train? Like, if I live in the fucking sleeping car, do I have to just walk through a bunch of naked, fat old men just bathing every single fucking day of my life if I want to get food? How does it work? Are there just like duplicate cars that they just cut out of the movie where like, oh yeah, we have a row of like 100 cars and all the sleeping people are here, and then it's like sleeping people, food, bathing. But wait, but then you'd have to, so I guess it would be like sleeping people, bathing, food, but then you have to go through that every day. And why didn't they show how many people are on this? How does the travel? What if I just want to get food and not look at an old man's dick? While they're in the spa car, the fucking asshole guy that they had the sniper duel with earlier, he shows up and he just starts murdering his way through. And he's apparently like, he's real tough because they like they try shooting at him and punching him and stuff, and it doesn't work. He kills a bunch of the characters, and it's real sad. He kills like the mom of one of the kids, and he kills Tattoo Guy, who's fucking awesome because he has this scene earlier when they're fighting all the axe people. He has a scene that's like fucking great where he has a guy held up at knife point to his throat, and he doesn't talk. He just like shows his fucking super muscled, like toned. I do a bunch of push-ups in the poor people part of the car. He shows his forearm that's like super ripped and has a tattoo that says "die" or "surrender" on it. And he's like, "Which tattoo? Which tattoo, motherfucker?" And the guy's like, "Oh, it's a surrender." But it's like the Scottish lady that was alive at the time. She don't give a fuck about that. So he's like, "Oh, well, should have picked the die tattoo, I guess." Actually, that was cool, but it doesn't make a lot. Like, why wouldn't he just ask him? Guess it was sort of loud, but does that situation really come up so much that you just get the tattoos and you use it all the time, or was that like, oh man, this is gonna be so worth? Yeah, just tattoo me up. It's gonna be so worth it when we do the revolution for you. Oh wait, I could have had a dragon. Oh, that guy dies, and the scientist guy, he and his daughter, who can see the future, but only kind of, but sort of. I don't holds him on the ground. Captain America stabs him a bunch. He just stabs him like 8 times in the fucking side. And I think he breaks his neck. He has his like neck pinned down by a crowbar, and he's leaning on with his whole body weight, and there's some like noises. So that guy's done. He's fucking done. So they just keep going. You know, there's only the 3 of them left now. It's not a good time, and they're going through. And then they make their way through the fucking like dance car. There's like an opium car where people are just doing opium, like, just on the ground. And then, like, after the opium car, they go through, like, the fucking rave dance car where there's people in, like, raver wings. It's like, how does this car work? And then you find Ed Harris, and he's in the next room. After that, like, the fucking president's house, if he wants to go visit somebody or talk to whoever, he has to walk through the fucking raver car. Do they, like, part the way? It doesn't seem like they care about anything that's going on in the world. What happened? Like, is that always populated by dancing people? How does it work? What's going on in this crazy train? They make it to the door, and the fucking druggy scientist guy is like, I don't want to open the door to the fucking Ed Harris, who runs the train. Famous character actor Ed Harris. Oh, he was in The Rock by Mr. Michael Bay. Oh, look at me. I don't care. Listen, Captain America, here's the real shit. Fucking when the train got shot earlier by the sniper guy, a little bit of snow went in. I saw that snow. I would talk to a Navajo lady. I saw that single particle of snow. That snow that's about to melt. We gotta get out of this fucking train. We can live in this world where there's no life because it's too cold. Captain America is like, okay, that's a good story. Here's my story. When we first got on the train, when like all the poor people first got on the back of the train, there wasn't even fucking There wasn't even the fucking gross insect protein bars. There wasn't nothing. You know, we ate each other.
Babies.
That's right. Captain America ate a shitload of babies. He's like,
I know babies taste the best. Got them delicious little baby ribs. Little baby back baby ribs. Got little baby feets. Mm-mm.
And my friend Edgar Blonde guy that I let die, when he was a baby, I was going to eat him. But then I didn't because the old man cut his arm off and let me eat it. And I know what you're thinking. That's just like One Piece. That's just like Sanji's story in acclaimed manga and anime series One Piece. And yes, film critics, what the fuck? Didn't call this thing on ripping off One Piece? I see how it is. I see how it goes. What does the druggy science guy have to say? And the druggy science guy had to say, all right, thanks for sharing. The reason I wanted the gasoline ball drugs is to make a bomb to blow open the door so we can go outside. In America is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Now I might be a baby eater, but even I know that fuck that. So they get into like a punchy scrap. But then the door opens up. He goes in and Ed Harris is just chilling out there inside, and Ed Harris is like, oh, hello. Welcome to my compartment. So, you know that dumb question fucking people had about, oh, do you walk through the ravers? No, I never leave. I never leave this room. Which I guess raises yet more questions, because where do I poop? There's no bathroom in here. My voice doesn't even sound like this in the movie. He's like, yeah, where do I poop? Is one thing. People wonder, who brings me my food? Do they walk through the ravers? Is there like, do drugs or like spit or people's fluids get in the food? Because those ravers are going pretty hard. Yeah, no, they could have thought about that a little bit. Like, listen, Captain America. Here's the real shit. Your whole revolution, I planned that with the old man whose arm you ate, who was the hook hand guy, who was your best friend and co-leader. We planned that together because we needed to reduce the population of the back car, and we couldn't have just like gone in and killed you guys, which we actually did. We just did that. But yeah, Captain America is freaking out because he was like complicit in all this, and then Harris is like, join me, Captain America, join me. You can live and poop in this car after I die, and you'll be the new train man and who rules, because I'm old and I'm gonna die soon. But you know that everybody in this train it's all perfectly planned. Everyone has their place. We need exactly this many people in the tail car. We need exactly like 40 just stoned teenagers in the opium car. We need like 80 raver guys in the next car over. If anything is off, the system breaks down into chaos. You need order. You don't get order without making a bunch of poor people eat babies and then just live together and then kill like 70% of them every once in a while. You must join me. America's like, I don't know. You make such a good argument. But then it turns out, he finds out, oh, wait a minute, the like precog girl who can see the future, she like opens up the floorboards, and the kids are just put in the engines. They're just down in the perpetual engine. And the guy's like, well, yeah, it's about, so the purpose of the poor people car is to produce malnourished children that are small enough to fit into the crevices of this perpetual motion engine. Just get into the crevices, just keep the whole thing going, you know, because there's some parts that break down that we don't have enough. We didn't make enough of them. We had to choose. Do you want the manta rays and the opium, or the parts that keep the fucking engine that saves everyone? So Captain America's like, no, I might have eaten a bunch of babies, but I'm not going to let babies live in this horrible state. We're going to rebel. I'll save everyone. Meanwhile, the ravers suddenly realize, oh, did a bunch of enemies of the state just walk through? Just go on like, oh, all right. let's fucking go, I guess. Let's do it. And they just decided, we're gonna just start fighting now. Including the guy that got stabbed 8 times way back in the spa car with the old man balls. He got stabbed 8 times, his neck was broken, he just fucking gets up. No explanation. You couldn't have had, like, I don't know, just like a, for the final guy, just like a cool raver guy? You couldn't have had like a Master Blaster raver guy? Had to be, I don't know, man. I don't know this movie. The raver guy's going, and they're beating the shit out of the scientist guy. The scientist guy decides, hey, fuck it. Daughter, go in the room, get the matches, get the bomb. And she goes in, and she gets, like, the bomb and the matches, and they blow the door off just in time to save one of the children. The other one, even though they were taken, like, a day ago, is like, no, I'm already totally brainwashed. I'm gonna just sit in this chair and turn this gear with my tiny baby hands fast enough to keep the machine going, because, you know. So they open the door, and the train, like, fucking explodes. Like, the air rushes in, it derails the train. Like, everyone's fucking dead. Half of the train crashes into a tunnel. Just, those cars are gone. They're fucking exploded. Half of it just, like, derails and, like, that sounded more like a fart than I intended it to, but people probably did fart in terror because they were dying. It was rough, man. So, like, at the end, as far as we can tell, the only 2 living people are the 17-year-old precog psychic girl, kind of, and, like, a 5-year-old boy who was one of the malnourished children under the floors. So they go out, they have, like, fur coats that they stole from the opium den, and they go out into the cold with no gloves, shitty snowshoes that don't work, and they're out there, and you know what they see? They see hope, because they see a polar bear that up on the hill, and that means that things can live out in the cold, and they're going to be okay. Except a polar bear is going to eat them. Except they don't have any food. Except they don't have any shelter. Except most of the weapons were like 80 cars back, and those cars are fucking piled off in the snowdrift, and you can't get to it. Except that they don't know if there's, like, bad chemical shit in the snow, because it was caused by bad chemicals, so they can't drink it. Except that they don't have, like, any form of shelter. I think I said that one already. They don't know anything about surviving anywhere. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to do anything. They don't. It's not a hopeful ending. I mean, it proves that the guy was full of shit, but we knew that because he had a system that relied on baby eating and malnourished children powered perpetual motion engine. It's like the ending of Precious. You remember that movie Precious, where it was like about the girl whose mom was super abusive and whose dad was like a horrible fucking rapist asshole, and she was like pregnant with 2 of his inbred kids, and she had AIDS, and her children had AIDS, and one of them was like severely autistic, but she didn't have any of the, like, the resources to help him with. But it's okay because she got out of the mom situation, and even though it's 1982 and no one fucking knows what AIDS are, you're gonna be fine. It's a happy ending. No, it's not. It's not a happy ending. You solved one problem, and there's still like 8 other problems that are incredibly severe that you can't solve. And this movie's like that, but they didn't even solve, because they solved the problem by killing everybody. They even killed the bald egg guy. There was this guy who was like bald and carried around eggs and had guns, and he was weird. That was also in the movie. So Snowpiercer is a cool action movie, and it's pretty neat, I guess. But also, it doesn't make any sense, and it's fucking stupid, and they thought through it on the surface level and then did not think any of the details down through at all, which would be fine, because I have no problem with that. But then they're also like, we're really smart. We know about Marxist theory and all this stuff. And this is a movie that you watch and use your brain. And you can't fucking do that when you're stupid as a movie. You look at other movies. You look at Pacific Rim. You look at The Rock by Michael Bay. And these other movies, and they don't make any sense on the lower level. And The Rock, fucking Alcatraz, is powered by a chopping machine. It's like blades and fire, and that somehow powers Alcatraz. But that doesn't matter, because that movie isn't about anything. The movie's about, look at this cool chopping machine, and look at explosions. And it's good at that. And Snowpiercer is good at being a train with, like, train sniper battles and dudes with axes. But then it's also like, look how smart and clever this is. And it's not. So I don't know. Snowpiercer, 2014. I should have looked up the date that movie came out before this review. Snowpiercer came out in
2013.
There we go. Did it that time. All right.